ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। Today we will do the summary of the fifth valli, or otherwise the second section of the second chapter. We have completed the 4 vallis. This is the fifth valli. This valli also has 15 mantras. Ashikara introduces this valli mentioning that Punaha prakarantarena Brahma Tattva Nirdharanartaha Arambaha Ayam Arambaha Durvignayatvat Brahmanaha. Since Brahma is Ati Sukshmatvat, Ati Sukshma Vishayatvat, since it is an extremely subtle subject matter for our comprehension, therefore the Upanishad uses different method, prakarantarena, different methods to Brahma Tattva Nirdharanartam, to ascertain the nature of Brahma. Durvignayatvat, why difficult? Because Brahma is always obtained as Drik, the seer, not as Drishyam. It is not an object of experience. As we understand the other things, other objects, Brahma is not a Drishya Vishaya. Therefore, since we have the orientation of objectifying the object of knowledge, so that becomes a problem for understanding this Tattvam, Brahma Tattvam. Therefore, another valli is started. Iti Vashikara gives a Sangati. In the first mantra, Puram Ekadashadvaram Ajasya Vakrachetasaha Anushtayana Shochati Vimuktascha Guchate Etat Vaitat. The Upanishad presents Atma being the nature of consciousness. It is obtained in this Shariram as the Swami of the body. Rathaswami, that is different. That in the chariot imagery. Here, in this mantra also, here it is this Swami, the master, the king of the city. Puraswami, Brahma, which is obtained in this body, is Puraswami. In the chariot imagery, it was Rathaswami. Here it is, the body is compared to the city, and the Atma is the one which is obtained in the body, whose nature is consciousness, and he is Puraswami. This Atma, Brahmatma, which is obtained in the Shariram as Sakshi Chaitanyam, Aham Asmi, Aham Sadabhami, Swaprakasha Chaitanyam. It doesn't require any support, any assistance for knowing. It is Swaprakasha Chaitanyam. It is Jnana Swarupam, knowledge itself. It is knowledge, it is consciousness, it is pure consciousness itself. Ajasya Vakra Chetasa, that Shashti Bhakti, it is Raghoho Shakti. We have Raghoho Shashti, we have seen. Not that Atma as consciousness. Atma is consciousness. Because it is consciousness, therefore it is self-evident. Therefore, what prevents from comprehending the Atma is Ajnana. Even this Ajnanam also is illumined by Chaitanyam, consciousness. Therefore, only Jnanam becomes the Sakshat Sadhanam. Jnanam becomes the Sakshat Sadhanam. And this knowledge is not a new knowledge. It is a knowledge, it is a consciousness in the presence of which even the Ajnanam comes to light. I don't know that Ajnanam, that itself is illumined by Chaitanyam only. Therefore, Viparita Jnana Vrittihi. Viparita Jnana Vrittihi. Jnana Nivrittihi. Viparita Jnana Nivritti. Removal of the Viparita Jnana. Atasmin Tad Buddhihi. That is the means and for which Shastram is a Pramanam. Shastram is a Pramanam, and therefore Shravanam is the Sadhanam. Therefore, the correction of the mistake which happens in the wake of this Jnanam, Samyak Jnanam, and for that Shastra Pramanam will do. Then why Mananam and Nididhyasanam? Mananam for Samshaya Nivritti, Nididhyasanam for Viparita Bhava Nivritti. But the Mukhya Sadhanam is Shravanam. Nididhyasanam is not for gaining moksha. Why we are talking this? Because Anushtaya na Shochati, the mantra says Anushtaya. Vashakara says Anushtaya is equal to Dhyatva. Dhyatva. Jnanam hi tasya anushtanam. Samyak jnana purvakam. Samyak vijnana purvakam iti Vashakara says. Anushtaya means nididhyasana or dhyanam, which is preceded by Samyak jnanam, clear knowledge. Why should anyone who has got clear knowledge of the Atma do nididhyasanam or dhyanam? What is the necessity if one has the knowledge of Atma? Dhyanam is manasam karma. It is karma. Therefore, it cannot be a pramana. Pramanam is that which produces prama, knowledge. An action cannot be a pramanam. From where the action comes about? How does an action comes about? Action stems from the will. The will about the things which we are interested, which we are which are known to us. Means and the ends are known by pramanam. One makes use of what is already known for achieving some ends. For that, one follows a particular means, maybe Vaidikam or Laukikam, whatever may be, a karma. For which again, it is known only through pramanam. Therefore, Shravanam is a pramanam. Dhyanam is karma. Nididhyasanam, Dhyanam, it's a karma. It cannot be a pramanam. It is therefore it cannot give moksha. So what is a sadhanam, sakshat sadhanam which give moksha, by which knowledge is gained, and therefore moksha is Shravanam only. The knowledge, what we talk about, which is gained from the Shastram, and that cannot be converted into any spiritual, mystical spiritual experience by Nididhyasanam, because Dhyanam is a karma. Being a karma, therefore, it will not produce new knowledge. Therefore, Nididhyasanam is not for gaining new knowledge, it is only for converting the Pratibadda Jnanam to Apratibadda Jnanam. Therefore, the Upanishad says, Dhyatva, that is having practiced in Nididhyasanam after clear knowledge. The clear knowledge is Samyak Jnanam is by Shravanam only. Samyak Jnanam. After getting Samyak Vijnana Purvakam, Bhashakara says, after getting clear knowledge, having practiced Nididhyasanam and what? Tam Parameshwaram Puraswami. Therefore, Brahma, which is presented as Puraswami, having practiced Nididhyasanam on that. That is what the mantra says. Anushtaya, Anushtanam, Jnana Anushtanam, Nididhyasanam is on that Puraswami. The Puraswami is what described in the first part of the mantra. And the second part of the mantra gives the sadhanam for Apratibadda Jnanam. This is what the mantra says. And here the Puraswami, Brahma, which is presented as Puraswami, it is independent of the Puram. Puraswami doesn't depend on the Puram. Puram means city. This physical body, this Deha is compared to a gated city, walled city, a city enclosed within walls, which has got 11 gates. Ekadasha Dwaram, Puram Ekadasha Dwaram, which has got 11 gates. Therefore, 11 gatekeepers are there. Sense organs are the gateways. And for every sense organ, there is Adhisthana Devata. So we have 3 openings in the Murdha, in the head, and 3 openings in the body, and 1 in the subtle opening, which is called Brahmarandra, at the crown of the head. So therefore, Ekadasha Dwaram, this city with 11 gated gates, and there is a Swami in whose presence the whole city becomes active. The city is for the Swami. This city, this Deha, the physical body, is a Samhata. It is put together, an assemblage, which is meant for the Swami. No assemblage is assembled merely for the sake of the assemblage. Neither the assemblage is meant for the individual constituents of the assemblage. Any assemblage, it should be meant for that which is independent of the assemblage. The Swami is independent of this assemblage, Puram. So therefore, this Puram, the city, is meant for this Swami, Puraswami. Therefore, Atma is neither the Stula Shariram, nor Sukshma Shariram, nor Karana Shariram, nor any part of any 3 bodies. In fact, it is the master, the Swami of all the 3 bodies. Just in the presence of the king of the city, everyone does action. Similarly, in the presence of Atma, everything functions. That is a Puraswami. So that Puraswami is Avakra Chetasaha. Avakra. Vakra means crooked. Here it means that consciousness not subject to any change. Avakra Chetasaha is Nitya Shuddha Prakasha Swarupaha. Ajaha, unborn. Nityaha. Iti. And the result of this jnanam is Anushtaya na shochati. One doesn't grieve. So, yeva vidyakrita kama karma bandhanaihi vimuktaha. Vimuktaha bhavati, Bhashyakara says. Yeva, having gained the knowledge, having gained by knowledge the abhaya prapte, the state of fearlessness. So there is no perception of fear for this person. Therefore, he cannot grieve, he cannot come to grief. Ihaiva avidyakrita kama karma bandhanaihi muktaha bhavati, Bhashyakara says. Anushtayana shochati. There is nothing which he is afraid of. There is nothing available which he can be afraid of. Why? Because Atma Satyam, Satyatma need not be, cannot be afraid of Mithya. Mithya. Clay need not have fear towards a pot. Snake cannot disturb the Rajju. When the snake appearance goes, what happens to the rope? The snake will not leave its dharma on the rope. It disappears. Therefore, there is no source for shokam, no for grief. Therefore, he becomes vimuktaha. Bhashyakara says, Punaha shariram na grindhati. Having known this, he becomes vimuktaha. Videha muktihi. He doesn't gain shariram again. Iti, first mantra presents Atma as the Puraswami. Then in the next mantra, the second mantra, the Upanishad presents the same that Atma alone is in the form of everything. Sarvatma Tattvam. Sarvatma Tattvam is being presented. Sarvatma Tattvam is Atma is the content of everything. Minus Nama Rupa, everything is Atma. Even with Nama Rupa, it is Atma only. Nama Rupa being Mithya. Therefore, Atma alone is in the form of everything. That is presented here in the next mantra in a poetic way. The Purusha, the Puraswami, which was presented in the last mantra, that is presented here as that which resides in this Manushya Shariram, human body, as the Lord who presides over all the functions, as in the Shariram as well as in this Jagat. Agumsaha as Amsaha. Amsa means sun. As Amsa, as sun, that Brahma dwells in heaven. It is dwells in heaven. We have seen Surya is called Amsa. This is a poetic way it is presented. We have seen the Bhashim elaborately, where we saw that Amsa means, in this context, it refers to Surya. As he removes darkness, Andakaram Tamaha Hanti iti Hamsaha. Hamsaha Anti. Bhashyakara gives a vipti. Hamsaha is Anti. Anti Gachati. What Anti? Tamaha. Andakaram. Shuchishat. Shuchau Divi Adityatmana Sidati Gachati iti. Therefore, the sun which moves in the Divya Adityadi Atmana. Divi is in the heaven. The sun which moves in the sky, which moves in the Divi. Shuchau Divi. Shuchishat Shadradatu. So we have seen Shuchau Divi Adityatmana Sidati Gachati iti. Therefore, that is Brahma. Then as Vayu, it dwells in the sky. Vasurantarikshasat. Vasuhu antarikshat. Antarikshasat. Vasu means the one who makes everything alive. Vasayati sarvaniti vasu. Vaivatmana antarikshe sidati iti vasu. He is a vasu vayu air in the atmosphere. Then as fire, he dwells on the earth, Agnihi. As guest, he dwells in the house, Atitihi. He dwells in man, he dwells in the gods, Varasat, dwells in the man, Nrishu, Manushyeshu, Sidati iti Nrishat, Varasat, Vareshu, Deveshu, Sidati iti Varasat. He is a dweller in the Devas, he is a dweller in the Manushya, other beings, and he is Ritasat, he is in the sacrifice, in the sacrifice, Ritasat, Ritam, Satyam, Yajnaha, अथवा धर्मे तस्मिन् सीदति इति ऋतसत्. It dwells in the sky. Vyoma sat. Vyoma is akasha. Vyomni akashe सीदति iti vyoma sat. Is born in the waters. Abja, Rutaja, Adraja, Ritam, Brigat iti. Is born in the waters. Is born in the earth. Is born in the sky. So everything is this Brahma. Is born in the mountains. Parvatebhyaha, Bhashyakara says, Nadyadi Rupena Jayate iti. And is Ritam. Is Ritam is true and it is Brigata limitless. It is Ritam, it is Brigata limitless, being the cause of everything. Therefore, nothing is away from this. Therefore, the essence of this mantra is this Jagat. This everything covers whatever the descriptions are here. Here it is about the Jagat. The Jagat has got this one Atma, this Chaitanya, which is all pervasive. Because so many things are there, doesn't mean there are many Atmas. There is no plurality of Atmas. Only Ekaha eva Atma. There are many bodies, many Sharirams are there, not that there are different Atmas. So this mantra dismisses the view of Nayayikas. Nayayikas, their view is that there are many Atmas, as many bodies, as many Jivas, Deva, Manushya, so many things are there. So many Atmas. That is dismissed. That is dismissed. There is Ekaha Eva Atma. Namarupas are many, but Atma is Ekaha Eva. And that is what it is presented in this mantra. Second mantra. It's a beautiful mantra. Poetic way it is presented. The next mantra, third mantra. Urdhvam Pranam Unnayati Kvanam Pratyagasyati. Here the Upanishad says that Atma, the existence of Atma can never be proved without the help of Shruti, just by logic, mere logic. Kevala Tarkena, one cannot prove Atma. Why? Because what you prove by logic, what you prove logically is that something which has been experienced before through the senses. Then only logical, then only proof is. That must have been available for your sensory experiences before. That only you can prove logically, as in the case of Anumana Pramana. Atma is not an object to be experienced. Therefore, it cannot be established merely by logic. So, therefore, what here Shruti does is it helps us to appreciate the presence of Atma by giving a hint for the presence of Atma. Hint for the presence of Atma and also the hint for the nature, to know the nature of the Atma. What is that? Upanishad shows here that Atma, the prana, the air which goes up and down, inhalation, exhalation, or there not for itself. That is, there must be an entity, there must be an entity that the prana and apana air, the inhalation and exhalation are there caused by whom? That is the one whom all the devas, all the organs worship. Madhyeva manam asinam vishve devaha upasate. That prana, the Brahma which sends the prana up, which throws the apana down. It is in the presence of Brahma only the prana, the inhalation, exhalation functions. All the indriyas, they do the job of the indriyas. Sense object perceptions happen in the presence of which he is the one. Madhye Vamanam Asinam. He is seated in the center. All the Vishwe Devaha Upasate, all the devas, all the Indriyas they worship. Means all the Indriyas they function in the presence of whom? In the presence of which the pranas function. That is Brahma, that is Brahmatma. So, therefore, prana is there, Indriyas are functioning. That itself is it's a clue, it's a hint to appreciate this Atma. They cannot function on it by itself because it is an assemblage. Assemblage cannot operate by itself, cannot meant for itself. There must be a thing or entity other than that for whose purpose only these are present or these are operative in the presence of that. That is Brahmatma iti Shruti Mata Tarkena, in keeping with the Shruti, the logic of the Shruti. So one can appreciate the existence of Atma. That is the idea here. Urdhvam Pranam Unnayati. Prana is Prat Gamanavan Vayu. Vashakara says Pranam. Vayu Unnayati. Urdhvam Gamayati. Prat Gamanavan Vayu. It is the respiration which goes out. So Pratyagatma only causes the exhalation of the air from the lungs to go out. Hridayat Urvam Unnayati. Hridayat Pranam Pranavrittim Vayum Unnayati. Similarly, it is a Pratyagatma that which thrusts the air inside. Pratyagastyati Apanam Ado Gamanavan Pratyak Adaha Asyati Kshapati. Then Madhye Asinam Vamanam Vishve Devaha Upasate. All the devas like Chakshurindriya. Chakshurindriya means it is presided over by Surya Devata. Similarly, all the Adhisthana Devata presided over each Indriyas. They are all offer namaskara to worship to this adorable one Vamanam. Madhye Asinam Vamanam. Vamanam Sambhajaniyam. Pujaniyam. Adorable. Who is seated in the space inside the lotus art. All the Indriyas worship. How they worship? The eyes offers all the forms, all the rupa, all the varna unto the Pratyagatma. The nose offers all the gandha vishaya to this Pratyagatma. Similarly, the ears offer all the sound, shabda, unto the Pratyagatma. All the Indriyas, all the sense organs offer their respective sense objects unto the feet of this Devata, Pujya, Devata, Pujaniya, this Brahma, Pratyagatma. Like all the servants offer, they do namaskara to the king. Similarly, all the Indriyas, they offer to this Puraswami. It's all connected to Puraswami from the first mantra. Therefore, Under the direction of this Pratyekatma, or in the presence of this Pratyekatma, all the activities of the sense organs and prana are, they exist. Therefore, the indriyas and prana, they must be, they are all samhata. They are put together. Therefore, Atma must be different from that. In the presence of Atma, they function. When Atma is not there, then they will not function. So that is what is said here. By Anvaya, Atma bhave prana bhavaha. Indriya vyavaharasyapi bhavaha. Atma bhave. When Atma bhave, Atma sattve, only prana is. It is not that prana leaves the body, therefore Atma not there. It is Atma. In the presence of Atma only prana is. Prana is means prana functions as prana. The presence of Atma only, Indriya Vyavahara all possible. So Atma Bhave, Prana Bhavaha, Indriyanam Vyavahara api asti. Therefore, Atma, that must be different from this put together Samhata, body mind sense complex. And by the blessings of this Atma alone, all the Vyaparas are possible. And all the Vyaparas are possible for whom? For whose purpose? For whom? It is for this Pratyekatma alone. Therefore, that Vyapara are all offered as worship. It is figuratively presented. Upasate iti. Upasate is all the Vyavahara, the actions are meant for this Pratyekatma, which is Madhye, Asinam, Vamanam, Sambhajaniyam, Pujaniyam iti. Third mantra. So, by Anvaya, this is presented. This mantra is important in the sense that not that a body becomes inert by the departure of the prana. By the departure of what I mean, departure of prana leaves the body, sharira. Therefore, prana is that which makes the body function, which makes the body alive. Some people, they argue it is not. In fact, the pranas are also prana because of Pratyekatma. Because of Pratyekatma, therefore, Atma, because of Atma alone, this body is sentient, not because of prana. Once the prana leaves a shariram, the body becomes jada. That is true, but it doesn't mean prana is the ultimate. Atma is the ultimate. In the presence of Atma alone, prana functions. So that is the idea. So that is presented by Anvaya Mukena, this mantra. Then in the next mantra, the fourth mantra, Yatireka Mukena, it is presented. The Atma on which all the Indriyanis, they depend. And Atma is a controller, is a director of all the prana, who is a Praswami seated in this 11 gates. When the king of the city leaves the city, then what happens? Along with the king, all the subjects, the servants, they follow the king. Similarly, when the Atma, who is a Praswami, departs from this Shariram, Asya Visramsya, Manasya Sharirasya Deginaha, Dega Vimuchya Manasya Kimatra Parishishyate. When the Praswami, Asya Visramsa Manasya, when the Praswami leaves the Shariram, when the Atma departs from this body, then all the activities of the body, what happens? That also depart with the Atma. So therefore, only the body starts to decay and finally becomes one with the Prithvi. It goes back to the material from which the body had come. When the Lord who is seated in the Hridaya Akasha quits the body, then the body falls apart, decays. So therefore, Atma abhave, prana abhava. Prana cannot function. Indriyanam vyapara api abhavaha. Therefore, kimatra parishishyate. What remains then? When Atma, Pratyagatma has departed, then what remains in the body? Here we have to understand. Pratyagatma departs means Atma is everywhere, we say, Sarvavyapi. No, the Atma departs, we say, then now. There's a movement of the Atma. How is it possible? Is it not contradictory? No, it is not contradictory. What when we say depart from the body, Shariram, that what departs is Sukshma Shariram. Atma is Sarvavyapi. Always it is Sarvavyapi only, all pervading. But the Sukshma Shariram, in which the Atma Chaitanyam is manifest, reflects, that is absent. Atma is present, but the Sukshma Shariram is absent. Because Sukshma Shariram is not there, therefore it becomes Jada. The Sukshma Shariram is important for the manifestation of this Chaitanya. Chaitanyam is all pervading. So Atma leaves the body is Jivatma, Jiva, not that Sachidananda Atma. Sachidananda Atma is all pervading. What departs from the body? We use loosely the word Atma departs from the body. Atma is this Sukshma Sharira, Chidatma, Chit Abhasa. So that should be there in the body, then only the pranas, indriyas, everything will function. So therefore, here in this mantra, Vitireka Mukena, it is presented, Kimatra Parishishyate, when it leaves the body, when Atma Jiva leaves the body, the Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa is nothing but Chit Abhasa, that is reflection of Chit. Chit everywhere, but that reflection, for that reflection, Antakaranam is required. Antakaranam is a part of the Sukshma Shariram, therefore Sukshma Shariram is required. But Sukshma Shariram not there, departs from the body. That is called death. Kimatra Parishishyate, what is here in this? Nothing. So therefore, third mantra and the fourth mantra. Third mantra through Vitireka Mukha is presented Atma Bhave, Sarva Bhavaha, everything is Atma Bhave, Sarva Bhavaha. So it is not Prana, it is Atma. It is Atma which alone gives sentiency to the body, not Prana. Iti, this mantra says that is presented through Anvaya Vitireka. So that dismisses the contention of a Purva Pakshi. Some Purva Pakshis, some Siddhantins who argue Prana is what makes a body sentient. That is very clearly Upanishad dismisses. Then the next mantra, na pranena na apanena martyo jivati kaschana itarena tu jivanti yasminneta upashatau. Any living being doesn't live just by breathing, just by prana or by the function of apana. A living being is alive not just by inhalation, exhalation, not alive even by the senses. When the one sustains even when the sense organs do not function. One is there. One can still sustain even when the sense organs do not function. What happens in sleep? In sleep, sense organs do not function. Sense organs doesn't function, therefore one should die. No, that is not true in the case of sleep. Sense organs do not function, person is alive. Prana function, senses prana. So therefore, senses prana, all these are put together, assemblage. So it's a product. It's a karya. A karya is born by putting together a lot of things. The sense organ is like chakshuhu, shrotra, etc. All these are put together. So it becomes a karya, a product. And because it is a product, therefore it serves some purpose. It serves a purpose not for itself, it's for somebody else. That is just praswami. The product cannot be, or it is not meant for it's itself or any of the things out of which they are created. It must be meant for someone else. The physical body, Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karna Shariram, they are put together. They are meant for someone else. Pranas also meant for someone else. Similarly, sense organs, Manaha, all these are meant for someone else. The house is built for whose purpose? Is it for the sake of the house or for the walls of the house or the ceiling? No, it is meant for the one who is going to occupy it. So therefore, anything which is put together, it always, the assemblage always, it just serves the purpose of serving someone else. So that being so, that someone cannot be Jada. All these put together, the combination, Samhati, they are Achetana. That putting together itself requires Chetana. And this assemblage is put together also must be meant for the Chetana only. Who is that? Puraswami. That Puraswami is independent of this Samhati, this assemblage, and that it is distinct from this assemblage, is not assembled, and therefore the Puraswami, who is independent of the Samhati, who is independent of this assemblage, that Puraswami, here it is said that therefore it is not the presence or absence of prana, na pranena na apanena, martyaha, manushyaha jivati, but in the presence of this Puraswami, this Atma alone, everything is, everything functions, everything becomes functional. Prana is jada. It cannot be the cause for the sentiency of the body. Itarena tu jivanti. Martyaha, manusyaha, itarena tu jivanti. Yasmin etau upashito, unto which all these are upashito. They have got ashita dependency. Atma is that, on which all these have dependency. Not that Martyaha, Manusyaha, Jivati, just by prana or apana. That is, Upanishad very clearly says, na pranena, na apanena. Because that is what we think. Prana is a therefore sentiency. No, prana is also an assemblage. It is also a samhata put together. It is meant for the Puraswami, who is not put together, who is independent of this assemblage, unto which all these are upashato, depend as dependency. The Upanishad concludes that prana is not what makes the shariram functional, sentient. Iti. Then the next mantra, to this mantra, Yamadharmaraja, he answers the question what Nachiketa asked through the first chapter, first Valli, 20th mantra. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Nachiketa asked, that is, Hantata idam pravakshyami, gugyam brahmas sanatanam. Hanta te idam pravakshyami. Again, I will teach you this Sanatana Brahma. Why this teaching again? Because it is Gugyam Brahma Sanatan, it is Gugyam, Gopyam, it is something secret, knowing which the samsara goes away. So, therefore, this Gugyam Brahma Sanatanam, I will teach you again. What happens to the one who doesn't know this? Avijnanavan Maranam Apnoti. Yathacha Maranam Prapya Atma Bhavati Gautama. One who has no knowledge of this Vidya Atma, he will come to me alone. Madhra tells, I will teach you, I will tell you what happens to the Jivatma. How does he undergo change? That Jivatma, if he knows Swarupa of himself, he will become Muktaha. Otherwise, he will come to me alone. Maranam Prapya. Maranam is, he says, to me alone. He attains me alone. Atma Bhavati Gautama. Here the word Atma. Atma bhavati. Here the word Atma is not Satchidananda Atma, here it is Jivatma. Atma Maranam Prapya. How can Atma gain Maranam? Atma is free from Marana Dharma. Therefore, Yatacha Maranam Prapya, Atma Maranam Prapya Bhavati. Maranam Prapya Atma Bhavati. What happens to the Atma having gained this death? How can Atma gain death? How can Atma die? If Atma died, then what we have been talking so far, it is all wrong. That is not the meaning here. Atma is not Jiva. The Atma is not Satchidananda Atma. It is not Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the Brahmatma. Here it is Jiva. It is the individual, the one with the Upadhi, Yashti Upadhi. Atma, Satchidananda Atma is Satyam. It is the truth. Nothing happens to that. When the Atma preside over the function of the body, with reference to the body, it is called Jiva. Just like the space is there, but with regard to the pot, it is called pot space. Space cannot be limited, but with regard to pot is avachinna akasha, pot space. Similarly, the Atma, which is reflected in the Sukshma Sharira Upadhi, that is called Jiva, and that is what is referred to by the word Atma. So, what happens to the Atma when it leaves the Shariram? That I will tell you. The Yamadamaraja, he connects to the question what he asked in the first valli. Idam pravakshami, this Brahma, Sanatanam Brahma, which is Gugyam, Gopaniyam, secret, and also what happens to this person after death. That's what you asked. That I teach you. Iti Madharmaraja says here. Then in the next mantra, he says, what happens to Jiva after death? That is presented here, Upanishad presents. Yonimanye prapadyante sharirattvaya deginaha stanumanyenu sanyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. Anye, referring to some jivas. Some jiva yonim, anye yonim prapadyante. They enter the womb for sharira, sharirattvaya, sharira prapanaya, for acquiring different bodies. And anye stanum. Others, they follow stanu. Stanu means motionless, movementless. It means it is jadavastu, like vriksha, etc. Stanum, stanugati. So some jivas, they take janma by entering the womb of some shariram, some bodies. What happens to the other? Some will stanam anye anusayanti. Some will enter, some will get the status of the stanu, stanam anye. Stanu means plant, vriksha, plant, etc., trees, plant, etc. They are referred to by the word stanu. So, therefore, sthanam manye. Sthanam means immovable, motionless. So, it therefore refers to trees, plants, etc. Vrikshadi stavara bhavam. That's called sthanam. In keeping with what? Yatha karma, yatha shrutam, karma anatikramya. Shrutam anatikramya. In keeping with the karma. What karma? Whatever karma the jiva had done. In keeping with that. Yatha shrutam. In keeping with whatever the knowledge which they have gained from this shastra, or yatashrutam can be explained as in keeping with their upasana, the meditation, in keeping with their karma, or in keeping with the upasana, they attain different shariram. It means the jiva continues to survive in other shariram. Either they are born in other yoni, or they attain the Rikshadi Stavara Bhavam iti. Therefore, it continues. Till it becomes free, it has to continue in different Shariram. So that secret what Nachiketa asked, it is revealed. So Jiva continues to be born. Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Charanam iti. Then the next mantra, Antate Pravakshami Gugyam Brahma Sanatanam, which Yamadharma Raja promised in sixth mantra, that is being said here. Gugyam, that Gugyam Brahma. Brahma, which is present as Sakshi, Sakshi Chaitanyam. Sakshi Atma is Brahma. Sakshi, that Brahma is Sakshi, it is the Sakshi of all the avasthas onto which all these world are dependent for their existence. This Jagat is not separate from Brahma. Atma is Brahma. Therefore, it is only Atma. And this Atma only is equated to Brahma. And that is the reality of this Jagat. So, Atma, Brahma is same. So, what is there is only one Atma, Ekam Brahma. And that is limitless. It is the Adhisthana of this entire Jagat. And that Atma is myself. Since I am that limitless Brahma, I am that Adhisthana of the entire universe. Therefore, this Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, they are resolved into that Brahma Chaitanya, which is myself. Therefore, here, this Jiveshvara Aikyam is presented. Yaha Yeshu Sukteshu Jagrati, Kamam Purusho Dharmi Manaha, Yeshu Sukteshu Jagrati. When the prana, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, and the mind, when they go to sleep, what happened to the Purusha? Purusha meaning the Atma, is very much awake. He doesn't go to sleep. That is why Purusha, we say Atma is Alupta Drik. Alupta Drik. Here, Kamam Purusho Nirmimanaha. Purusha, what we mean by the word Purusha here, it is referring to Atma. Upanishad uses the word Purusha to mean Atma. Puro Vashati iti Purushaha. Puraswami, what we said before, the same Purusha only. Instead of Atma, Purusha, the word is used. This Purusha doesn't go to sleep. When the sense organs, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya go to sleep, but this Purusha doesn't go to sleep. So in the Purusha, in the Jagrata Avastha, the Purusha, when something is remembered, it is called Smriti. And in the dream, it is called Vasana. So, Smriti and Vasana. Smriti, what is remembered in the waking state. And Vasana is what is gathered in the waking state, because of which a prapancha is created in the dream state. So, waking state, dream state. In all the states, this Atma, this Purusha, without sleeping, is awake, is present. Alupta Drik. Atma asuptaha san, without going to sleep, remains awake. Kamam tam abhipretam. Stri adi artam avidya dharmimanaha, Bhashakara says. You can see. So without going to sleep, asuptaha san, being awake. So this Kamam tam abhipretam, desirable things such as woman, etc. Kamam tam abhipretam, stri adi artam avidyaya nirmimanaha. It projects avidyaya, it projects because of avidya all the objects, dream objects. In the dream world, it is dream. The waking world, it is because of smriti. Dream is because of vasana, and waking is because of the perception. So therefore, this Atma, in the Sushupti, in the dream avastha, it is awake. The dream avastha, it is awake, where all the senses are put to sleep, but it projects various objects because of what it had gathered in the waking state. And the waking state, there is a constant interaction with the Jagat, therefore it gathers lot of lot of memories. That alone is projected in the dream, in the sushupti, in the Swapna Avastha. That the Swapna Avastha, the one who creates Swapna Prapancha, who projects various dreams objects, that that person doesn't sleep. That person doesn't sleep. Indriyas are put to sleep. Indriyas are put to sleep, but this person, this Atma doesn't sleep. He remains awake. This Purusha is ever awake. Alupta Drik. The waking anyway is awake. The Sushupti, the Sapna also is awake. The Sushupti also is present, but it is not available for recognition. If it is available for perception, then it is not Sushupti. Then who is that Purusha? What is its nature? Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma. Tadeva Mritamuchyate. That Purusha is Shukram, it is pure, is free from Punya Papa. That is called Shukram. Pure means free from Punya Papa. Ashikara says Shukram, Shubram, Tad Brahma. Shubram, Shukram. It is pure, it is white. White means it is pure from Punya Papa. And there is Na Anyat Gugyam Asti. There is nothing Gugyam secret other than that. That Purusha, that Atma, that Chaitanyam, which remains awake. Yaha Yesha Sukteshu Jagarti. That is Purusha, is Shukram, it is Brahma. Tadeva Amritam iti Uchyate. That is called Amritam. Doesn't have Maranam, cannot die. What is that Amritam Brahma? Then the next line says, that is Tadeva Amritam Uchyate Tasmin Lokaha Shataha Sarve Tadanatyeti Kaschana. All the worlds, all the lokas are Brahmani Ashutaha. Like all the pots are supported by the clay. Similarly, all the lokas are supported or ashita by this Brahma. Tadunatyeti Kaschana. Nothing transcends this Brahma. Brahma Tattva. Brahma alone is. So what is there is only Brahma alone. Nothing transcends this Satchit Ananda. The Brahma is ever awake, in the presence of which everything functions. That is the idea that is presented in this mantra. And in the ninth mantra, the Shruti talks about that Atma, which is the same Atma, one and the same Atma present in all the beings. Even though present in all the beings, it is not affected by what happens to the beings, individual beings. What happens to the individual beings? Atma remains unaffected. Like what? As Agniryataiko Bhuvanam Pravishtaha Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babuva. As one Agni, it has entered the world. Though there is only one Agni, it takes different forms. According to the object it burns, it takes different forms. But Agni is only one. Agni Reteko Bhuvanam Pravishtaha. Agni is everywhere and it is only one. Bhuvanam Pravishtaha. It has entered, it takes different forms according to the material it burns. The fire, Agni, assumes a form in keeping with the object. It doesn't mean the fires are different. There is fire only. There is only one fire. Similarly, Atma is Ekaha. That Ekaha alone. Atma Ekaha alone. That is the meaning. That is for that only the Drishtanta is given. Yata Agnihi Ekaha. Bhuvanam Pravishtaha. Tata Atma Abhi Ekaha Eva. That Atma alone appears in different forms. Rupam Rupam Prati Rupo Babuva. Yata Agnihi Ekaha Agnihi Bhuvanam Pravishtaha. Rupam Rupam Prati Rupa Babuva. Tata Eva Atma Api. As one Agni with regard to different upadhis appears in different forms. Similarly, this one Atma alone, one and the same Atma alone with reference to different upadhi, Shariram, it appears as though different. Therefore, this Atma transcends this Namarupa. Transcend means this Namarupa is Nitya. Atma transcends all the forms, all the names and forms. But no names and forms can transcend the Atma. Atma transcends. No object can transcend Atma. Why? Because Namarupa is Mithya. That Namarupa being Mithya, therefore that Mithya has its dependency on this Atma. For its Satta and Spurti, for its existence and for its recognition depends on this Atma alone. Therefore, Atma transcends all of them. Atma sarvam atyeti. Atmanam na kinchit atyeti. Tadunatyeti kaschana iti we saw before. And the word Bhagihi, another important word here, we saw Bhagihi elaborately in the Bhashyam. That is, Atma transcends everything. Nothing can transcend Atma. That is the meaning. But Bhagihi we have seen. Svena Vikrutena Surupena Akashavat. It is Bhagihi means outside. It means it remains unaffected. It remains, it cannot be transcended. That is the idea. Natyeti kaschana. Tadu natyeti kaschana iti yat पूर्वेषु मन्त्रेषु उक्तं तदेव भगिष्य इति अस्मिन् मन्त्रे अपि. Then in the next mantra, the previous mantra, Agni example. In this mantra, Yamadharmaraja explains the same tattvam with the example of Vayu. Vayu reteko bhavanam pravishtaha. The Vayu in this shariram, physical shariram, in the stula shariram, pervades in the form of prana, apana, dhyana, udana, samana, panchavayavaha, santi kila. These five forms of this prana. Similarly, prana means Vayu. The Vayu means the prana is Vayu only. The same Vayu is present in five forms. Five physiological functions. Based on five physiological functions, it gets different names. Prana, apana, dhyana, udana, samana, iti. Similarly, Atma being one, that alone assumes different forms and shape. Rupam, pratirupa, babhuva. Prana is one. Becomes different because of upadhi. Similarly, Atma is ekaha eva. Ekaha tata sarvabhutantaratma. Pratyahatma, it is sarvabhutantaratma. Rupam pratirupa bhaguva bhagischa iti. Here we have to note that Atma we say Pratyahatma. By saying that Atma, which is Pratyagatma, what we mean is that Ati Sukshmatvam of Atma is what is pointed out. That's what we are pointing out by saying Pratyagatma. Innermost, there is no inner Atma, there is no outer Atma. Atma is only one. There is no inner or outer with regard to Atma. There is no inside or outside for Atma. There is only Atma, one Atma. There is only Atma, in fact. There is only Atma. Then why we say Pratyagatma? Because this Anatma Deha is taken to be Atma. The Prana is taken to be Atma. Manaha is taken to be Atma. Buddhi is taken to be Atma. Chitta is taken to be Atma. Even Ajnanam, Karanashariyam, that is taken to be Atma. You say, I don't know, Agam Nimapi Janami, that we take to be Atma. Therefore, since Anatma taken to be Atma, therefore, by Drik Drishya Viveka, we have to negate all negation, negating all the koshas or all the sharira, stula, sukshma, karana, and arriving at the Atma. That is why the inner Atma, Pratyagatma, the word is used. Therefore, Pratyagatma, it doesn't mean the inner or outside. Stula Shariram is Atma, but Atma is not Stula Shariram. So dismissing Stula Shariram. That's Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma Shariram is Atma, but Atma is not only Sukshma Shariram. That also dismissed. Then Karna Shariram is Atma, but Atma is not only Karna Shariram. Therefore, that also is dismissed. Then arriving at that Atma, because that alone, because of which alone, all the Shariram or Shariram, they enjoy the status of existence. That is Pratyagatma. Whether it is through Shariratrayam or Panchakosha. Panchakosha, when we do, we start from Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha is Atma, but Atma is not Annamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is Atma, but Atma is not Pranamaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha is Atma, but Atma is not Manomaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is Atma, but Atma is not Vijnanamaya Kosha alone. Then Anandamaya Kosha. Iti, Each level we dismiss to arrive at that. Therefore, pratyak, we use the word pratyak. It doesn't mean that Atma is sitting inside the Panchakosha or inside Tri Shariram, like the onion. Not like that. So, therefore, pratyak means with reference to the Anatma, our orientation, our pre-conclusion, that Anatma we take to be Atma. To dismiss that only, we say Pratyekatma. That is the idea. Because there are a lot of misconceptions. Atma is Pratyeka. Therefore, you have to feel like onion. Get into this Pratyekatma, which is sitting inside. Not like that. So that is Pratyekatma. Then in the next mantra, it's a beautiful mantra, another mantra. Ekasya sarvatme sati. Ekasya sarvatme sati. When there is only one Atma, then what will happen? One Atma, that is Paramatma. Then the sorrow, the samsara of all the Jivatma will be for the Paramatma. Paramatma has to suffer for all these samsara dukkitvam of the Jivatma, because there is only Paramatma alone. And many Jivatmas are there. They all suffer from samsara. Atma is only ekaha. So, therefore, what will happen? Therefore, the samsara dukkitvam of the Jagat will be attributed to Paramatma. So, then Paramatma itself has samsara problem. Then that's a big problem. Then it's a big problem. If Atma is one and there is only one Atma and it is Atma of all the beings, then all the dukkha of all the individuals must belong to this Atma. Then this Atma will be loaded with all the pains of all the people. That doubt may come. If there is Ekaha Eva, if there are many Atmas, then it is safe. We can say the sorrow of one Atma only belongs to that Atma. Another Atma doesn't suffer. But when you say only one Atma, then the sum total of all the sorrows belongs to whom? Belongs to this one Atma alone. Then becomes a problem. Then this Atma cannot be Mukta Atma. It's a Samsara Atma. That is contradictory. It's an oxymoron. Atma cannot be a samsari. Therefore, here the Upanishad gives an example. Yata Suryaha. Suryo yata sarva lokasya chakshuhu. Sun is not touched. It is a lokasya chakshuhu. Sun is not touched by anything. It neither touched by the beauty of the objects which it illumines or tainted by the object, stinking objects, like gutter. Sun rays falls on the lotus, sun rays falls on the gutter, but sun doesn't get affected. It transcends all of them. It illumines all of them at the same time, transcends. Similarly, Sarvabhuta Antaratma, not tainted by the sorrows of the world. Na lipyate loka dukkhena. Therefore, Bhagyaha transcends all of them. Yata Suryaha Lokasya Chakshuho, the eye of the whole world, as it is not contaminated by the objects of illumination or by the eyes which are defective. Similarly, this one Atma is not contaminated by the samsara dukkitvam. It means it transcends all of them. The transcending nature is what is presented here. And also answer to the question why Atma cannot be a samsari. Then in the 12th mantra, another important mantra here, the essential teaching of this, the Upanishad, the Tattvam is presented. Jivatma Paramatma Aikya Jnanam and Aikya Jnana Palam it is talked about here. This Atma, Ekaha, it is Vashi. Vashi means it is independent. Swatantraha Bhashyakara says. Vashi is Swatantraha Sarvabhutantaratma. This Ekaha Sarvabhutantaratma Bhaguda Karoti. Ekam Rupam Bhaguda Yak Karoti. Like in Purusha Suktam. Ajayamano Bhaguda Vijagati. Without being born, is born in different forms, different varieties. Similarly, this Ekaha Sarvabhutantaratma which has become manifold. Tam Atmastam Yena Pashyanti Dhiraha, those people, Vivekis, who appreciate this Atma, they will have Dhiraha te Shashvatam Sukham, Tesham Shashvatam Sukham. They will have Shashvata Sukham, permanent happiness. Shanti Madhigachati. They will enjoy peace, security forever. It's called moksha. What about others? Na itaresham, not for the others. Iti, 12th mantra, prasansi aikya jnana palam. And in the 13th mantra, talks about the same thing, aikyam only, Jiveshwara aikyam. Nityaha nityanam, chetanaha chetananam, ekaha bhagunam yaha vidadhati kaman. So, the one who is permanent among the impermanent, the one who is conscious, that one which is consciousness among the conscious entities, chetananam chetanaha, and he is the one who yaha vidadhati kaman, the one who grants the desired objects of all the people. Chetanaha chetananam, anityanam nityaha. Chetanaha chetananam refers to chit, swarupa of Atma. Anityanam nityaha refers to Sat, swarupa of the Atma. And that Atma is Sat, Chit, swarupa. It is Ekaha. Yaha, that Atma, Vidadati, grants, gives what? Kaman, desired objects. He is a karma paladata. That is what is presented. That is that Ishvara, Paramatma is karma paladata. He is Satchit Ananda Swarupaha. Tam Atmastam Yenu Pashyanti te Dhiraha Tesham Shanti Bhavati. They will have Shanti, they will have peace, they will have security. Na itaresham, not others. Iti. In the next mantra, this mantra is in the form of the question. Either we can assume this was asked by Nachiketa, or we can take that this question is raised by Yamadharmaraja and he himself is answering. Tadedaditi manyante anirdesham paramam sukham katam vijaniyam kimubhati vivati va iti. This Atmananda is the Paramananda. It is anirdesham, it is indescribable. Nirdeshtam na shakyam, cannot be described. So, therefore, is this Ananda available to me? How can I get this Ananda? It is, does it shine by itself, Vibhati, Bhati, or does it shine by Vibhati? Does it shine distinctly, Visheshana Bhati? This Atma, which I want to know, which is Anirdesham, which cannot be described. How can I make this Atma, which is Ananda Swarupa, how can I make available to me? Does it shine by itself? Or does it shine distinctly? Vibhativa, Visheshana Bhativa, iti Prashna Rupena, Mantraha Vartate. And that is being answered by the last, the mantra of this section. The answer is, it shines. Its Swarupa is shining. Self-evident, self-shining. That is Chaitanya. It is shining distinctly. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Nema vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. Sun doesn't shine, cannot shine by itself. Nor the moon, nor the stars, nor the vidyut, the lightning. All this, then when they themselves cannot shine, what to talk about this small agni, small fire? All this shines after which that is Atma, that is self-shining. By that alone, all this shine. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Tasya bhasa. In the shine of which all this shine. It means this mantra is similar to Shotrasya Shotram, Chakshusha Chakshuhu, Manasaha Manaha. So that which is a shine of all the luminaries. Why luminaries are presented? Because that refers to Jyoti, the light. So Jyotisham Jyotiki, that which is a light of all the lights. Light doesn't mean a physical light. That is self-evident, self-shining. Vibhati. Surya is shining. literally this, literally shining. Chandra also. But even though the Surya is shining, that shining is not by itself. It is because of this Atma. Suryasya, that Prakasha, Chandrasya Prakasha, Vidyut or this Taraka, etc. They all have existence. They all have Satta, because of which that is there. That's why. Minus that, they cannot be what they are. That is Tasya Bhasa, in the presence of which Sarvamidam Vibhati, everything shines. That is this Atma, this Brahma. Iti Upanishad concludes. Sun do not shine by itself. Sun is, the isness is what makes the sun is. That's astitvam of the sun. That asti. Suryaha asti. Suryaha bhati. Asti bhati priyam rupam. That asti bhati, that all that is refers to this Atma alone. Suryaha bhati, when we say that bhati, the Suryaha asti, Suryaha bhati refers to that belongs to Atma. No, because Surya is jada, it is mithya. So astitvam bhatitvam belongs to Atma. Therefore, tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati, in the shine of which everything this shines. Iti Upanishad concludes that vibhati, it is shines. Iti. This Valli is completed. The last Valli we will do it in the complete in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद जी.
Next class will complete.
धन्यवाद जी.
धन्यवाद.